Let's make sure I'm not shooting in slow motion this time. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, guys. It's been a while. I'm well aware, and I'm sorry. I don't know exactly how long it's been. It's been long enough, though. And I'm back. I'll get into a lot of stuff this video. This is probably going to be a very long video. However, this video is going to be half an actual video and half of an update video. First half, I kind of want to go back and talk about some of the New Year's resolutions that I made from last year. If you remember, one of my first videos that I made on this channel was a New Year's resolution video, and I wanted to go back and just talk about like how many of those things that I actually accomplished. And yeah, that's really about it. So let's get into it. So the first New Year's resolution that I had mentioned in my video was talking about finances. And one of the specific goals that I had set for myself in that video was saving up $10,000 at the end of the year. And I will tell you firsthand and foremost, I utterly failed at that goal. I think last year, I was not making as much money as I was thinking I would. And then I had a bit of a change in kind of jobs and stuff like that. And so financially was not really in a good place. Also was maybe not managing my finances as well as I could have. Also traveled a little bit more than I had expected to. And my mom, she also visited for a month at the end of last year, and while she was here, I really just wanted to kind of give this impression off that I could take care of her as well, and so I was kind of covering for both me and her. And so kind of left in a position where, you know, hitting some of those financial goals was not as possible. I definitely think I could have done better. One of the big things that I think I should have not spent as much money on, was Magic. I got back into, you know, a hobby of mine, which was Magic the Gathering. Spent way too much money on it, and, you know, if I didn't do that, I probably would have, I still don't think I would have achieved my goal, but I think, obviously, I would have been a lot closer. But yeah, you know, something that you're going to realize is that, like, honestly, I did not accomplish a lot of my New Year's resolutions that I had set out for myself. And I think that's statistically, like, that is supposed to be something that's very common. And so, you know, if you feel like you didn't accomplish a lot of the things from last year, that's okay. And also, this video is coming out a lot later in January than I expected to. So you might not really be thinking about New Year's resolutions from last year so much at this point, but I'll get into some of the New Year's resolutions that I plan on setting for myself for this year as well at the end of this video. So yeah, let's get into the second part. The second thing that I had set out for myself to do was I wanted to try and start a business. And specifically, it was my photography business. I had my website set up and I was trying my best to market around to people. Unfortunately, I only have had one client up until now, and that was like a couple weeks ago. So very, very recent. I think while trying to do photography and trying to make it a business, something that I struggled with was trying to market myself. I kind of was given, or I had the impression, I was not given the impression, I had the impression that if I told my friends, my close friends, that they would, when they needed it, they would reach out to me themselves and try and support me, you know, in a way by, you know, trying to ask me for my service. And in return, I would give them like a discounted rate, just to kind of get started, you know, I have to get some momentum before I can, you know, I feel confident in kind of charging for the prices that I have on my website. Unfortunately, I had one friend who graduated last year, and I told him repeatedly about kind of me doing graduation photography for him, and when the time came around for it, he didn't reach out to me, and honestly, it hurt on quite a bit. Like, when I started doing this, I was really hoping that my friends would try to help me out a bit, and that just wasn't the case. And it's not their fault really, but it still hurts nonetheless. Just because, I kind of wish that they had had my back. And I even reached out to this specific friend and I talked to him about it. And, it became kind of this thing that I was like, it's not really your fault, but I still can't help but feel a little upset about the situation, just because I just had really hoped that you would try and support me as someone that's trying to start, their own business. And, clearly it hasn't done very well. And it was very demotivating, in large part because it made me doubt a lot of my skills. I was constantly just unsure whether or not, am I good at photography? Am I good at this kind of stuff? And it was just very difficult for me, I think, to kind of make myself believe like, oh, like this is even worth doing anymore. Like, if even my closest friends won't even reach out to me for this kind of stuff, how can I expect to get clients that I don't even know on board with the idea of me doing photography for them? So that was a very big struggle for me at that kind of time in the year. But luckily, kind of I'm past that, and this recent shoot it's given me a lot of inspiration again. Despite it being a very minimal kind of shoot, it was just a headshot for a LinkedIn profile page, but he still paid full price for it, which I had listed on my website, and he's very, very cool about it and everything like that. And so I don't know, it just gave me this impression that I was like, and like the other major thing about this was that like I told this person about like me doing photography as like a service like over a year ago, and he remembered it, and I was like, oh wow, like he actually remembers, and like he's down for me to actually do it. And so that was very nice. That meant a lot to me, and so I think that like kind of it gave me a lot more self-esteem. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at with like this whole starting a business thing. And I mean, a big goal for me this year is to kind of get back into more content creation, as I'm trying to do right now. Continue making that like a weekly thing, and trying to do some more photo shoots just throughout the year and try and get back into that as well. Yeah, so hopefully I can post a lot more stuff, upload a lot more stuff, and you guys can, I can share it with you guys. That would be kind of like the most ideal kind of situation for me. The next thing that I talked about in that video was just making more stuff. Pretty general, right? And I'd say like I didn't make as much stuff last year as I wanted to, but I would say that this was not a complete failure. So in the beginning of the year, I think I made like 12 videos, something like that. And I was pretty consistent with uploading for a bit, and then things kind of fell off, and I'll kind of get into the reasons why that was the case later on in this video. But I think the quality of the videos that I was putting out, honestly, I was not disappointed with them, and it's still difficult for me to go back and watch it just because it's like most people don't like watching themselves, but like I think for the most part, I could look at them and be like, I think that like there's a style to it and there's like an aesthetic to it, and I think that like that alone is something to be proud of. And so I was very happy with that, and hopefully this year I can continue to improve with like video editing and things like that. I didn't really do any photography last year, and that really sucked. At least not any like recreational photography. The person that I usually shoot was in Germany, kind of doing some studying, and she's back now, but it's cold, so we're probably not going to do a shoot anytime soon. But I went to Illinois with a friend to record some of his kind of just like concert stuff, and I'm not exactly sure how much I'm allowed to show but I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna put some of it in here, and I posted one of the clips on my Instagram page as well. So you know, I thought I did a good job, but unfortunately, my friend, he didn't give really a lot of feedback about it, and unfortunately, it wasn't really a paid gig. He covered most of my expenses, and for that, like for the opportunity and for that alone, like I'm very grateful. But I just kind of wish that he gave a little bit more feedback on what I actually gave him in the end, just so I could get a better idea of like, was it good? Did he like it? Because I mean, my personal opinion is that I think I did good, and I think everything looks nice and all that, and it surprisingly sounds pretty good too. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way things turned out. I think despite me losing a lot of motivation and losing a lot of self-esteem in myself, I think that I still tried my best to put out content or try to create stuff when I could. The one unfortunate thing is that I think music is one of those things that's just gonna get cut out of my life. I know I went to school for audio, and it's still something that I love a lot. I love music, and I would really love to create music, but unfortunately, everything that I record, it's just very difficult for me to like say that I think that it's good of the quality that I want it to be at, and that's just really important to me. I want to like make stuff that I think is good quality, because that means that I would like it, and if I don't even like it, then it's like, do I want to put it out there? I think this is one of those years where it's like I just have to push myself to put out stuff. One of the reasons I stopped making YouTube videos was because my work schedule was getting busy, but also because I would look back at some of them and I'd just be like, I really wish that I could get more time to work on these videos rather than just a week. And because I was busy, I wasn't getting enough time to work on them either. It would be like I'd get home late and I'd get like 30 minutes to work on a video, and I wasn't, and I still am not, technically skilled enough to kind of edit that quickly or do enough. And I just was like, I can't put these videos out weekly. And I really wanted to do that. But hopefully, that gets better. Hopefully my mentality can change throughout the year, and I just push myself to like keep putting things out, even if I'm not necessarily happy with it. Because at the end of the day, I just have to learn. And that's just part of the process, and I just have to accept that that's okay. That's okay if I don't think that it's good. As long as I'm willing to put it out there, I think that's worth more than anything. And so yeah, I think that's like one of the big things that I want to change about for this year. Yeah, and the next thing that was on my list was to build better routines. This I would not say I did very well. At the beginning of the year, I think I was doing pretty okay. And at the end of the year, it was like kind of 50-50. But in the middle of the year, I definitely think that I was like slacking off a lot, just not doing very well. And what those routines kind of entail is like, health-wise, like, am I cooking? Am I exercising? Am I trying to stay healthy? Am I keeping my room tidy? Am I staying organized? Things like that. At a certain point this year, I got like really lazy, and because of my lack of motivation and just my lack of self-esteem, I just lost a lot of momentum in just kind of like keeping myself productive and keeping myself, on my feet and just ready to kind of do things. And that was just really unfortunate. I think this year it'll be better. And once again, I'll continue to talk about it more later as I kind of give an update as to what exactly was going on in my life and what has been happening recently, that's kind of given me this inspiration to kind of come back and make these videos. But yeah, I mean, I'll get back into it later. But the last kind of New Year's resolution that I want to talk about is traveling. I really wanted to travel more last year, and I would say I did that. The very end of 2023, I was traveling in Taiwan to go and visit family again, and that was a nice little trip. I think it might have overlapped into 2024. I don't quite remember exactly. But in March, I actually had to go back to Taiwan, and I made a video about, my March kind of recap. And I mentioned a family tragedy, and the specific tragedy was that my grandpa had passed away. And that was like the first kind of death that I have personally experienced in my life, that's, from my family. And, it was just kind of like it was a bit of a tough time for me, just kind of like, obviously kind of dealing with death and that kind of stuff. It's never going to be easy, I think. And my grandpa, he lived a long life. He was like older than 95, I believe. And so he lived a good life, I'd say. I mentioned that when I went back to Taiwan, I was eating a lot of food, I was buying a lot of clothes, and thankfully I was meeting up with a lot of friends and enjoying the scenery around there. And so it was nice being back, despite the conditions or like the circumstances surrounding the trip being kind of unfortunate. So yeah, around that time after I came back to the States, my girlfriend and I, we traveled to, I can't remember if it was North or South Carolina. We traveled to one of the Carolinas. I'll have to look it up and confirm whether or not it was South Carolina or not. But that trip was very fun. In my update video, I actually put a lot of clips there from that. And so, maybe I'll just be playing some of those in the background while I'm talking about it. But yeah, no, that was a very enjoyable trip. We did some zip lining. We booked an Airbnb and kind of just like stayed in a little cabin and just cooked in it, and it was really wholesome. It was really nice, and I really enjoyed that trip. I actually traveled to New York for the first time in July to meet up with my dad there. It was unfortunately during the Microsoft update like crash thing that happened, and like all the flights were getting delayed. So that part of the trip was pretty miserable, just getting stuck in an airport for like an extra day essentially. And so the first day I was in New York, I was just trying to figure out how to like get around easily, or just get around at all. And because my dad hadn't arrived yet, I was just wandering around New York, just trying to figure out what to do with all my luggage on me. And so, it's kind of awkward, but it was still a nice trip, and I was glad to, get to see my dad. And right, the other thing that I forgot to mention was when I went back to Taiwan, I got to meet up with one of my really great friends, and the reason I'm reminded of that is because in New York, I met up with two more of my high school friends, like two of my close high school friends. And, it's always very nice and just heartwarming to kind of meet up with these people again, because it's always great to kind of see people that I have all these shared experiences with. And these are just really important people to me, and I cherish them. And, whenever I see them again, it's always difficult for me not to just be like, man, like, I've known you for a really long time, and like it's just very like it's difficult not to reminisce about being in high school again. So yeah, no, those are great trips. And then in December, actually, with my mom, we went to San Francisco to go see my uncle, and because he got engaged, and that was a nice little trip as well. I did some more photography and some more video stuff there, and I think I got a lot of B-roll footage while I was there, and so I'll be showing some of that throughout this video. But yeah, no, I traveled a lot this year, or last year specifically, and I'm hoping to travel maybe not as much this year, but like I'm hoping to get some more recreational trips in. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with that part for last year. I kind of want to transition this video into kind of like a bigger kind of update, like why I stopped making videos from last year, why I want to start making videos now again, what's kind of been happening for me. And it all has to do with job stuff. So I was previously a audiovisual technician at a company in Nashville, and our busy season was in spring and in fall, and so things started picking up a lot during springtime, and that was why the videos started slowing down, because I didn't think the quality of the videos would keep up, and I just felt like that was not a very acceptable thing. I just really like pushing myself to create things that I'm really proud of, and unfortunately I just was running out of ideas. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not like skilled enough where it's like on such a short time frame I can create something that I feel like I'm proud of. And so because of that, I felt like, okay, you know what, maybe like I'll push out a video once every 2 weeks, and then just got too busy for that, and then I just lost all this motivation, and I just started really slacking off basically, and it got really tough for me mentally. And then I quit my job in August. And the thing was that at the beginning of last year, so in January, I started a job at a restaurant as like a part-time worker, and I have been working there from the beginning or end of January of last year all the way up until now, and I finally just put my 2 weeks in. And the thing is that working at this restaurant, it wasn't horrible, like, but I mean, it's food service, and so you get what you get. Some aspects of it were pretty difficult and pretty frustrating, and it just wasn't where I wanted to be, and the job wasn't difficult, and it was like really boring there, and it was just kind of like long days where I wasn't really doing all that much. And I think because of that, my life just slowed down far too much, and it just got really dark in here. I think like a cloud just covered the sun or something. We'll fix that in post. But basically, going back to the whole like building good routines kind of thing, I think me working at this place for for such a long amount of time, it just had a really negative impact on kind of the routines that I was trying to build in my life, like waking up early or going to sleep early or like eating well and things like that. And so I don't know, I got really lazy. That's really the only thing I can say. And what's changed though is so over the past year, I've been submitting so many job applications. I think I submitted probably close to 500 job applications last year, and I got rejected from every single one of them, or I didn't get a response from them. And that was another reason why mentally I was struggling so much. Was I just really started to doubt. I was like, am I not enough? Like, am I stupid? Am I, like I was very confused. Like, what was I needing to work on to kind of make it so that I could get hired at all? And, I consulted with people about, okay, like, what can I do to kind of try and get hired? And, I fixed my resume, I improved my LinkedIn page, and that can still be worked on more. And I've been trying to take some online courses to get some certifications, because that was something that I felt like my previous job didn't do very well, is that like I was doing a lot at this job. Like, it was very physically intensive, and I was putting myself in a lot of dangerous situations, but I wasn't getting paid a lot. And more importantly, I wasn't getting any kind of certifications or getting a lot that I could take with me to prove that I was a good worker in any kind of way. And so I just kind of felt like I wasn't left with a lot. And it wasn't until recently that I was asking around, got a connection, and I had a training day recently at a company, and they seemed to really like me. And it's very, very random and out of the blue, but the job is basically a house appliance technician. And it sounds really random, but the reason why I think I can do videos and start making more content more frequently is because the schedule is more consistent. It's a Monday to Friday job, and the hours will be something between like 9 to 6 or 9 to 5, or maybe a little later than that. But the point is, on the weekends I can film, and then when I get back from work I can edit and everything like that. As long as my schedule is consistent, I can do that, because that was the other aspect of the restaurant job and my AV technician job that like made it difficult to make these videos. Was my schedule was so inconsistent. And one of the really important things to me was that like, I want to try filming things in the morning, because I don't have a light fixture in here that helps me make my videos look good, and so I have to specifically use natural light when I'm filming for these videos, because it just looks the best in my opinion, and I don't have anything else that's better, unfortunately. So yeah, like, I think when I start this job, I think a lot of things will start going better for me. And I think one of the most important things for me is that like, I just had to realize that like, I wasn't going to make certain things work. Maybe this is not something that like a lot of people want to hear or need to hear, but like, I put my foot down and I was like, I need to give up on certain things, and I just need to look for anything to kind of cling on to. And if I'm good at it, then I'm good at it. But when I went on my training, like, I was really flattered. Like, the person that was training me had a lot of nice things to say about me, and it just kind of really gave me this push that I needed to be like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to try and do something that that someone else is going to say that I'm going to be good at. And if the schedule is consistent, it'll allow me to do all these other things that I want to do. And if the pay is good, then that'll also allow me to do things that I want to do. with less fear about being broke or like just not having enough money to do stuff. And I don't know, it just didn't feel like, it just suddenly felt like, oh, this is not a difficult decision for me to make. One of my goals for this year is to just really, really go all in on this content creation stuff. I really want to make this work. And I love doing this. Like, I love filming, I love editing, I love this whole process. As kind of difficult or unskilled at it as I may be, it just feels like such a fun thing to kind of get good at. And I'm just really excited to do that kind of stuff. And you know, I hope that you guys enjoy this content as much as I enjoy making it. And, you know, over this next year, some of my, you know, New Year's resolutions, the first major one was get a new job. And, you know, fortunately, that seems to be going along already. And that's really great. And the other thing was, you know, get my finances in check. And I think I will be able to do that this year. And so those first two major things, I think I have out of the way. And hopefully by the end of this year, or you start of next year, I can make another video and make a video that's like this, where it's like, I give a big update. I'm just like, so these are all the things that I accomplished from my New Year's resolutions from last year. But I just really want to make content creation something that's possible for me to make money out of. And I want to continue making videos. I want to continue doing photography. Music is unfortunately going to be put on the back burner for now. And I'll still do like, you know, try and like write music from time to time, or like, you know, if I get a chance to perform, I'll try and perform. If I get invited to hang out with some musicians, I'll do that. But like, I cannot be focusing on that right now. I want to make money, and I want to keep my life stable. That's like the main thing. So yeah, that's kind of everything that's been going on. I mean, you know, the routines thing, I still want to make sure that I am keeping a good schedule, sleeping early, waking up early, cooking, eating well, exercising regularly. The thing though is that like I actually am exercising pretty regularly. I play badminton a lot, and I'm not like working out, which is the thing that I initially intended. But I actually had like 3 badminton competitions last year that I went to, and I wasn't doing like super well in any of them, but like those were nice experiences to kind of go do and all that. So I think that, you know, so far it's been very enjoyable kind of thing to do on the side, like a nice hobby to keep. But yeah, it's been a year. Last year, I think, was very much so a learning year. I failed a lot at a lot of things. Started out the year pretty rough, and it just continued being very demotivating. And this year, I think it's really just going to be the year where I'm just going to push myself to put out as much stuff as I can and just make as much money as I can and see how that comes out. And, you know, I have a couple more videos lined up after this one, and hopefully I can keep continuing thinking of video ideas for you guys. Just let me know what you guys want me to talk about, or what you guys want me to record. I'm thinking of taking you guys along with me for some photo shoots, that kind of stuff, and, you know, talking about certain things from last year, some additional things from last year, and going over some photos that I took from last year and why I like them or why I don't like them. Just like things like that, you know. I think it'll be fun, and, you know, I just kind of can't wait to get more into this year and see how it goes. And I want to bring you guys along, and yeah. But anyways, welcome back to this channel. I know it's been a while, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video as much talking as it was. I hope you guys are excited for some more content from me this year, and I hope that everything I put out is at a standard that you guys are okay with. And if there's anything that you guys don't like, just let me know. Or if there's anything specifically that you guys think I should do better, you know, also let me know about that. Once again, please subscribe, please like, please comment. Just let me know what you guys want to see. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. If you guys watched this whole video, I know it's probably a long one, but there's been a lot that's kind of been happening, and I figured that I should get a lot of this off my chest and all that. And there's a lot of B-roll footage that I want to show. So yeah, I hope that you guys have a wonderful 2025. I hope you guys had a great 2024, and if not, I hope that this year treats you better. Let me know what your New Year's resolutions are, and yeah, I hope to see you guys next week and every week afterwards. And yeah, have a great day, guys. See ya.